Australian screening and diagnostic company BCAL Diagnostics is dedicated to the early diagnosis of breast cancer, aiming to facilitate early intervention and enhance outcomes for women. Over the past decade, BCAL has engaged in the research and development of non-invasive diagnostic technologies designed to complement existing imaging technologies, such as the mammogram. BCAL is currently focused on improving screening for breast cancer in women through its innovative blood test, BREASTEST. Joining me to discuss more is its co-founder and executive chair, Jayne Shaw. Jayne, welcome to the Stock Network.
Lovely to be here today. Thank you for your interest in BCAL Diagnostics. We really appreciate it.
Now, looking at your intellectual property, what does non-invasive BCAL Diagnostics intellectual property entail, and what's its potential?
Okay, so BCAL Diagnostics has developed a blood test to detect breast cancer, and we've been working on that for the last 14 years. Lipids is a relatively new diagnostic tool or molecular signature, but 14 years ago, it was very novel. And when we went to lodge our original patent application, we identified that the University of Louisville had already lodged a range of patents in June 2010. And so we basically agreed a license agreement with the University of Louisville, which is still in place today. And that patent is around the lipids in extracellular vesicles, which is exosomes, which is quite common now in terms of therapeutic delivery systems for drugs. So our original patents go back to 2010, and that's our first level of coverage. But our second level of patent protection is also around the work and scientific development that we have carried out in our own laboratory since 2017. So we've got primary patents on exosomes from 2010, which give us historical rights to the lipid signatures. And then now we are continually to lodge patents in relation to lipid signature in plasma. And so we've taken the step out of extracellular vesicles or exosomes. It's very difficult to commercialize a test. And so we continue to lodge patents in a range of geographical areas. We're working with FB Rice in Australia, and we also work with some high-profile patent lawyers in the US in alignment with the University of Louisville. So patent protection is aligned to our product development and commercial development, and will protect the product going into the market. Very important.
Excellent. You've mentioned a lot of areas there where you have a unique point of difference. Honing in on that, what do you believe sets the company apart and your laboratory apart from other breast cancer research facilities?
So, as we know, billions of dollars have been invested into genetics, proteomics, mRNA. And only in the last 4 or 5 years has there been an increasing number of publications around lipids and the lipid signature. And why are they unique? They're unique because our understanding is that when normal cells change into cancer cells, the first thing those cells need are fats or energy. And it's the changes in the lipid signature or the algorithm that can differentiate between patients with breast cancer and non-breast cancer. So that's really important. So lipidomics and fats, we've been looking at, about 650 different lipids, but our signature is now down to 6 lipids, which is very important from a commercial application. So we're unique from that perspective in terms of our scientific development and progress for the last 14 years in the lipid area. Our laboratory will allow us to enter the market later this year. We're going to have NATA accreditation, and that will mean that we can bring the test to market as an in-house IVD. So we will control the whole process, and we're entering the market with a conservative approach, and one that we can service the demand.
Honing in a bit more on that strategy, you've clearly considered the whole process there. when it comes to the next 12 months, what kind of commercialization, perhaps strategy deliverables, would you expect to be delivering or achieving?
Yeah, we've given it a lot of consideration over a long period of time. And for those of your audience that aren't aware, so a mammogram is currently the standard of care to detect breast cancer. So that involves your breasts being compressed on two metal plates, which isn't a particularly pleasant procedure. However, it has been the standard of care for the last 30 years. And so if you introduce a new test into the market, if you think you're going to replace the existing standard of care, you're kidding yourself. So we have been working with clinicians for about the last 14 years in terms of how would you position the test, what sensitivities and specificities the test need to be to meet the standard of care. So we will be introducing the breast test as another diagnostic tool alongside a mammogram. So at the moment, if you go for a mammogram, you can also have a mammogram, an ultrasound, a contrast mammogram, and an MRI, because the sensitivities for each test are all different and will identify different sensitivities towards breast cancer. So at the moment, the standard of care for the National Breast Cancer Screening Programme is a 2D mammogram. So the images aren't as good as a 3D mammogram. And then a contrast mammogram can really identify the breast cancer. So we will be positioning the test alongside a mammogram and a blood test and the diagnostic tool.
Well, Jayne, thank you so much for the introduction to BCAL Diagnostics, and all the best with executing your very considered strategy for the remainder of this year and beyond.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your time and interest. And please go to the BCAL Diagnostics website if you want any further information. Thank you.